Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to Girl Chat Sports.
We
Joe
are
and Mel.
here. We are here. We are here. I'm just sorry. I'm just reading something that caught me off guard here. That the WalMarts are permanently closing all their stores in Oregon, Portland.
Oh yeah, because I guess there's been too much theft or something.
Yeah, now that drugs are available on the street out there, I guess they can just try to score them as best. I don't know. That's crazy. That's why they're
uh,
not 24/7 here because people doing the same thing. So they're gonna close a few of them here too.
you never know. You never know.
Yeah,
I
you know.
mean, I wouldn't doubt it. There's a couple they need to close that I've been to, but we'll
Well, I'm
we'll stay
sure.
off of that.
Sure. Sure.
Anyways,
There's quite a few
it
locations.
welcome to Girl Chat Sports. Mo and Mel here. It's not only Women's History Month, but it's also International Women's Day. So we salute to all the women out there. We hope that everyone, you know, enjoys it, but appreciate women all year round. Really, that's what it is. But it's a good day. It's
Yeah,
nice
for
to
real.
see all these professional sports and other things, people of other organizations, supporting the women in their organizations and their companies and showing love to them. So that's good. We appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
We
me
got a
too.
guest on though. We want to get her on because she's not in our time
Yes.
zone. So we want to make sure we get her for as long as we can. So please, without further introduction, please welcome Natasha Gransberry, the Stadium Queen. Hey, girl.
Hey, ladies, how are you?
Good,
Hi,
good,
Tasha.
good. Yes, yes. So, we needed to have some women on this show. Last week we had a special short one with some women on to discuss the importance of women's history, to discuss what it means to you. So before we get into kind of like your stadium queenness, I guess you could say, maybe kind of talk a little about what women's history means to you, International Women's Day, maybe what it means for you in like a sports realm or you in an attorney's realm, because I know that's your other hat. But what does that women's history mean for you?
Ironically, it means something a little bit more simple. Just being able to be assured of yourself and whatever you choose to do.
Uh-huh.
My current role is an attorney, but I feel like I'm so much more in life. I've worked as an engineer, I've worked as a bartender. So, like, I feel like all of those things are a part of me, and they create titles because that's how the world decides. But my character and who I am is the same in whatever position I've had. So I think that's the most important thing to take away from women history. You can be whatever you want and
Right.
whatever that is, and it can change. And so that's what that's what I think about most, because I'm not the same person I was last year, and I'm definitely not the same person I was a decade ago. And so, with that, wherever you are today, think about how you may want to be a part of history in the future,
Right.
and what part of women's history has shaped you thus far.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But let's get into the good stuff because we've talked sports before with you on the show.
Yeah.
We've enjoyed your pick'ems show that you have during football
Oh
season. We know
yeah.
that's your boyfriend, so I know you back in the we know you back in the single market because football season's
Yes.
over with.
Yes.
Uh, but talk to us about like what it's been. I mean, we'll start with the last Super Bowl 57 in Arizona. You had a chance to get there. Here's just a couple pics. I'll do a video a little bit later. Oh, this was I'm sorry, LA. These, because there's so many. These are the ones in Phoenix. So
Yes.
she got up in there. There's a video I'll show in a little bit. But kind of talk to us about, I haven't been to an actual Super Bowl game. I've gone to numerous Super Bowl events or, like the stuff that's happening around the city. But what was your experience in Arizona like this year?
Very different. I mean, but the most consistent part was West Coast vibes, right? Just great weather, not really being concerned about the weather as
Mhm.
much. Other than that, and it's just a very different feel. I'm like you. I've been to several Super Bowl cities while the Super Bowl was taking place. I've, done many things other than the game. And even last year, that was not my plan, but something changed. I was like, Kendrick Lamar, Dre, Snoop,
Yeah.
all in one
Right.
place, and football. Like, I just couldn't allow myself to be in town and watch it on TV.
Right.
That was the worst thing ever because now I don't know how to watch the game on TV.
How to be
So,
home and just watch it,
It totally
right?
jaded
right.
you. It totally jaded you.
Yes. And you know, that's actually how my travel started. It changed me. Of course, I've been to
Mm-hmm.
football games before. I went to professional games on the road. I had been to professional games at home, but something about the road changed me, and it's been that way honestly since 2011. I've been changed since that happened, and I've
Mm-hmm.
never looked back. And I've already started planning the next two Super Bowls, so obviously I'm changed from LA. But like I said, the weather probably helped the most. You just feel good, and you're not really worried about, will it rain, is it too cold, is it going to snow, just things that you see always on the news with the other Super Bowls that have taken place on the
Right.
East Coast.
Yeah.
And it's just good to know that that wasn't even a factor.
And it
Yeah.
wasn't. And luckily, it wasn't during these like frigid temperatures that we got after Super Bowl, because Nevada
Yeah.
and Arizona both have been going through these rain, snow. It's just like a mix of everything. So it seemed like great weather. Now, talk about maybe some of the events or the things that you saw while you were there, and if you have like any, favorite moments from your trip there.
So I definitely have several favorite moments from Arizona. One would, I'm sure Mo would like. I enjoyed meeting the president of the Raiders. I had
Oh,
a
you got to meet
chance. Yes,
Sandra.
I finally got to meet Sandra. Like, it's like one of those weird things. Like, that was like something on a bucket list for me once she was selected as president last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh man,
Did
I
you
want
tell
to.
her that you knew me, like you were cool? Like you
Of
should have
course,
told
I
her.
did not.
Oh.
I was like, look, I didn't want to claim the rights to you. I remember when you told me.
No, totally claim the rights to you, because then you probably would have got even more access to be like, oh my God, you're a dope person too, right?
Yeah, so the first time I, ran into her, I actually got to ask her a few questions and have a brief interview on the red carpet. She was at the Sports
Nice.
Power Brunch, and it was in its fourth year.
Right.
That is something that I definitely highly recommend if you're in town or the Super Bowl comes to your city, which it will be next year for you guys, that you attend that brunch or cover that brunch. It's an
Yeah.
awesome event and it's backed by the NFL. They sponsored this year, and they get great sponsors and they give awesome awards. Of course, Asia was a recipient as well at the event. So that was pretty interesting to talk to her.
Uh-huh.
And then, to the side, I shared that we're sorors. So she gave me friendly
Oh
love on that
yeah,
end.
absolutely.
So we had a moment. And at the end, it's so funny because that was the first event I covered at the beginning of the week. And then at the end, after they have the MVP press conference, right before, they also have the changeover of Super Bowl host cities. So
Oh,
Phoenix
okay.
changed over to Vegas, and she was there as well and unveiled the new football for the next Super Bowl. Yes, there it is.
Oh
There we
And
yeah, that's
go.
I
it.
got to talk to her about that again, and getting some photo ops. So that to me
Yeah.
was probably like the best event. Actually, meeting Miss Lee. She worked for years with the Padres, one of the first openly gay Black women working in baseball as general counsel.
Mhm.
She's now moved on to form her own business, working in the whole D&I space and things of that nature.
Wow.
So those were some
Okay.
awesome things. I got to talk to Taylor Rooks. I think I just, like I said,
Nice.
that event was enough, and that event was on Tuesday. So everything else after
Yeah,
that.
I want to say, I think I saw you post or somebody posted, and I was like, oh my God, this looks so lit, because that was one of the things that Sandra had mentioned she had an event to go to, but I had no idea that that was going to encompass what all of that, you know.
Yes,
So I'm glad
it's just
to see.
amazing. Right. Just amazing. Just about everybody you could, think of, from PR positions to marketing to.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a great room to be in. It was almost one of those moments where I was like, dang, did I choose to cover this? Maybe I should have just attended. But,
Right.
it was available to attend. And I love the part about where when they had the panels, they restricted all video because they wanted
Good.
people to feel open and have natural conversation and
Right.
kind of get in depth. And that part you just can't duplicate. ever again, really. And so I really enjoyed that. And I got to meet some different Hall of Famers. The weirdest thing at the game, I saw Tony Dungy they were trying to take a selfie, him and whoever he was with at the time. And I just saw the struggle of the whole selfie. And I was like, hey, can I just take your picture
Right.
for you? Like, I don't want a picture with you. I don't want to bother you. And most people don't understand. Usually when you see the former athletes pregame, they're working a tailgate and they're on a paid appearance. So he really
Okay.
was waiting for a special cart to come pick up him and all the people and take him to the tailgate. So you don't want to bring much attention. So that was why I was like, hey, I'll just take your picture, hand you the phone back. And security was like, did you know who that was? I was like, yes, but right now he's just trying to be a fan himself. He wants a picture of himself with the logo in the background. So that was one of those weird moments. And that happens at you run into so many like stars and people, and you're like, they're just trying to have a good Sunday,
Yeah.
So
Tell me
And
you
enjoy
saw
the
Agent Nicole.
festivities.
Did you see Nicole Lynn?
I did not see Nicole. If she was at the brunch, maybe she came in after or she skipped the red carpet because I did not see her on the red carpet. And even when I interviewed Jalen at the beginning of the week, that wasn't really an event where she would necessarily be in that spot. She might have been somewhere else for some other things, but I didn't get a chance to meet her. I've met her at a different event here in
Oh,
Houston
really?
when she was
I want to
here.
meet her
Yeah,
so badly. Like, I literally
yeah,
want to meet her so
yeah.
badly.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
next year's your shot.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
and Jalen got the whole female squad for his management team,
Right.
so he's woman power, woman history right there. It's just,
Correct, correct.
it's
Mm-hmm.
great. It's great. So you went to the LA one last year. You've been to Arizona. Out of the two, do you have a preference as to who maybe did it better or what you
I
preferred more?
definitely, well, so the difference is I didn't do radio.
Without the stadium, because I know the
Right,
stadium's probably nicer. We get that part, but
right. I
yeah,
don't think the stadium even bothered me as much because I didn't try to rate it on that. It's hard to go from a stadium that's barely 2 years old hosting a
yeah.
Super Bowl to one that's been around. I think Arizona did a good job of keeping things close, meaning the official Super Bowl activities were easy to access, and move around downtown. You were kind of familiar with where you had to go and what you had to do. And then the events may have been in Scottsdale, but for the most part, everything was kind of centrally located. LA is so big and the traffic is so bad. It's like
Yeah.
everything you planned for, you had to really think about it hard. Now, true, they'd always have the teams spread out, but I had friends associated with the Rams last year in town. It was a
Mm.
long drive out to their hotel.
Oh
Like,
no.
I mean, I understand the reason why, but it was just like, oh my gosh, will this ride never end? But you don't really have that in Phoenix. So I would say from that part, it was better if you leave the stadium part out of it. But I think they do a really good job of thinking about general things like logistics, right?
Okay.
Um,
Mm.
in Phoenix, I parked on site. I bought a parking pass. It was easy to get
Okay.
in. And honestly, it was easy to get out. And they definitely have plenty of gates when you're trying to get into the Super Bowl. And I think that's a big thing. You don't want to spend an hour in line
Waiting.
trying
Yeah.
to get inside to the Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
That
And
makes sense.
and for people who, haven't went and are thinking about going, what's beautiful about it is it's it's all encompassing, right? The reason why you usually don't have parking, LA didn't have parking on site. All parking was off-site in LA, which
Well, it's
honestly,
LA.
that's the
Well, I
best.
remember them announcing that. I remember when they were saying that.
But honestly, that was the best for them because I've went to a
Yeah.
game, a
Yeah.
non-Super Bowl game, and it's awful to get in and out of there. It's just awful. So you have to think it's literally across the street from the Forum, and it's in the middle of Inglewood. So it's not
Right.
easy at all. Arizona was built by the freeway, so you have every exit that kind
Hmm.
of caters to it.
Okay.
So my point in bringing that up is just really that part I would lean toward Arizona on how they handled that and told you, and you still could get
Mm.
in and out of the stadium. And so my point is, the Super Bowl starts at the gate, and the gates are all the way back. So the difference on Super Bowl Sunday, you know how we go through gates at the game and then we can kind of hang out in the plaza areas or whatever, and then you go through ticket gates to enter the stadium. Well,
Mhm.
the first gate you enter is the ticket gate. Everything is included with the Super Bowl. There's private tailgates, but once you're on the facility, you're on it. So you can go in and out of the stadium as much as you want and
Wow.
keep walking around in that perimeter because it's all encompassing. So you can go inside, use the restroom, or shop at the store and come back out and chill for a little bit. You just can't leave
Wow.
that entry, that ground entry. So wherever the ground entry is, that's the furthest part you can go. So you're
Well,
not
and Arizona has that huge area out there. They also have for all their pregame stuff. Usually, even during regular games, they have a
correct.
big area out there. Yeah.
Oh
Correct. Well,
my
and so the difference in
God.
LA, which, like I said, with no parking, it was at the edge of the parking lots. So
Okay.
basically, once you stepped on the parking lots, it's the same thing. Those tailgates, there's more tailgate tents set up. And Cheryl Crow was the performer for the
Okay.
pregame tailgate. And you kind of pay per level. And if you kind of think about it, instead of levels going up, the levels go out. And so, based on the level of tailgate you pay for, you enter your tailgate, but the stage is at the entry point at the back. So, we all see the stage, if that makes sense.
Oh, that
So, we
does
may
make
not be
sense.
in the
Yeah.
same tailgate, but we're
Mhm.
seeing the same concert.
Well, that's good. That's nice. And then, of course, we've got Vegas here next year, and I know they're already getting started on all their plans and a lot of downtown action, probably a lot of strip action, and we'll see how much ends up happening off the strip because you never know. It could be out here in Summerlin, the ballpark, could be down in Henderson at the Dollar Loan Center. We'll see what these guys, and the ladies of the organization have planned. But I know they're already securing volunteers and trying to get this hoopla of,
They've already sold out
people.
the
Oh,
pre-sale. The first batch of pre-sales sold out already.
Oh, I believe it.
they're
Who
gonna
you
be
think's gonna
going
be our
for.
halftime on it, Natasha?
I think they may go back and ask Taylor.
That's what
They
I think.
originally
I think it's
they
gonna be
asked
Taylor Swift.
Taylor last year, and she wanted to finish re-recording all of her original uh, songs, and she said she wouldn't be ready by Super Bowl. So they either ask her, because I don't see, like in my mind, I can't think of anybody else immediate that would
Yeah,
be a fit.
I had suggested maybe Taylor Swift along with the Killers and Imagine Dragons just because they're from Vegas to accompany her if it's that kind of thing. But that's what I'm thinking. I don't think it's going to be another hip hop R&B. I don't think we're going to see that for the Vegas one. I think it's going to be a
No, no,
totally different. Yeah, I
I
agree.
agree, and I think it's still
Hmm.
fitting.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like I'm not tripping. Hey, I
yeah.
like Taylor. I like Taylor Swift. I'm not opposed to it.
I'm just
But
hoping
I
they
just
have
know they
better
got to go big
grass.
because it's Vegas.
I
Hmm?
hope, and I hope they have better grass. Just so you know, it's true that the grass was awful. You know how people complain and they make excuses. So we went back to the stadium the day after the game and onto the field, and it was just atrocious. Like,
Well, because they were
Wow.
growing it for a while outside of the stadium, weren't they?
yes, but that's not really an issue because that's exactly what they do in Vegas. During the
Oh
week,
Yeah.
the
man.
grass is outside in the parking lot growing. Then they
Right.
track it back inside for the games on
That's absolutely
Sunday,
right.
and then they track it back out. So that's not
That's
a new
absolutely
thing.
right.
Yeah, that's not a
Yeah.
new thing. It's
No.
it's pretty sad that that's the only time that field was used, and it looks horrible.
Oh,
Well,
it's
we had complaints
terrible.
on our grass the start of last season too in Allegiant for that same reason. It was patchy and it wasn't looking like it was even in the preseason games our grass. So it's just funny like that sometimes on how they're treating it.
Eugene, Oregon, grass capital of the world.
The
Please,
ducks, huh?
please get involved with them and talk to them about how to grow grass.
I did
Please.
not know that was the grass capital of the world.
It is.
Hilarious.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Tidbit fact I learned when I used to be an engineer. I traveled there and they were like,
Oh my
we're grass
gosh.
capital of the world.
Huh.
Yeah.
So the ducks always have an
Mm-mm-mm.
advantage, is what you're saying, huh?
Maybe when they had Chip, I'm sure.
So before we get into some hot topics, I just want to pick your brain. So, is there any stadiums you haven't visited that you're like, it's this is next, or is there something you need to revisit because you want to see it again? Because I
So
know
the
it's
So the only thing really left for me now is for So the difference with me is like I've been to every stadium, but I've seen my team play in every stadium, which takes longer. You can visit stadiums, but I've actually went to
Right.
see the team play in each one. And we played in the Georgia Dome versus playing in
Mercedes-Benz.
Mercedes-Benz,
Yeah.
and we played in Candlestick, but I circled back and I caught them in Levi last year. So the only stadium that's open now that we haven't played in for me to see is SoFi, but I've been to SoFi for
Okay.
several
Gotcha.
games. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely make that trip again when they play in SoFi. I most likely won't redo Atlanta just because I've done it several times. The Celebration Bowl, so I've seen the stadium on several occasions. I've seen a Falcons game there against the Saints. It's not really one that I have to get back to. I'll give it credit that it is the most economical stadium. The pricing and setup for food, families can afford to go.
Yeah.
It won't break you trying to feed your family at the game. So that part I love. I would always take another trip back to Green Bay. And I'm
Okay.
slightly addicted to SoFi, like so much so that I
I
almost
heard it's
bought season
amazing.
tickets for the Chargers. Like honestly, I almost bought season
Yeah, and
tickets
they're
for the
cheap too. They
Chargers.
were like a couple $100. They weren't even a lot. I
That
should have
and that's
invested.
why I was going to buy them. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful seat everywhere in the stadium. And I'm so glad I went before I went to Super Bowl because I knew then, oh, I can sit in a higher level seat
Yeah.
because I'm
And
really
be fine.
obsessed with lower level seats. But I knew that second level is a beautiful view. It's almost better than first level in SoFi for some reason.
Wow.
It's like the perfect combination of seeing the screen and the field
And the field.
and the
Wow.
field. So I definitely recommend it's second level, any row, it doesn't matter. Sideline, end zone. So yes, I do
Okay.
plan on doing those again. And now I just look for matchups when it comes to football. If
Yeah.
there's a good
Yeah.
matchup, then I just try to go to it, which is what happened last year. I went to the NFC Championship because I was like, there's no way the 49ers beat the Rams 3 times in one. And I was right. There was just no way, right? So, and this year I wanted to see the AFC Championship, but
Yeah.
the weather, I just wasn't willing to just
You can't do all that. Kansas
no.
City
Yeah, it
is
was
not.
cold,
I
cold.
mean,
It
I've
was
been in
ridiculous.
Kansas City when they set records and destroyed the Texans in the playoffs. And I said I was never going back there in the cold for that and driving in that snow. I
Ugh.
slid across the freeway, flights canceled. That was the worst for me. So I think for me, it just needs to be a warmer, steady environment, or I don't have to see the matchup. I'll watch it on
Yeah.
TV.
And not for nothing too, Tasha. The thing of it is the flights were getting canceled even when the weather was good or bad. It was just a bad season of travel. So just imagine if you
Yeah.
tried to do it anyway.
All bad.
Yeah,
out there.
I wasn't. The only reason I wasn't worried about that for Super Bowl last year, I went a few days before. This year, I went a whole week before, so I wasn't as stressed about getting there. And I was like, when I get back, I get back because I never leave the Monday after Super Bowl anyway because it's
Mhm.
like the
You
worst
can't.
travel day.
You can't
So
do
Right.
it.
You can't drive
everything,
it out.
even though they have flights, they're all delayed or slow.
Right.
Oh, wow. I know that
Mm-mm.
airport was crazy too, I'm sure. Oh, so we'll get into hot topics real quick. We'll keep you on, do some hot topics with you. We'll let you go. We know you got other stuff to be doing, but of course, we want to talk a little bit about Ja Morant. Today we found out that there would be no.
Real quick, Melissa, before
Oh,
you even
yeah.
get into that, I
No.
don't know if you got the memo across your phone, but your Supersonics legend Sean Kemp just got booked into jail for a drive-by
Stop.
just right now.
For a drive
I
Before
don't
we
even
get into
have
Ja,
that
we need to talk
yet.
about your
Oh, I
best
see
friend.
it right now. Booked on a felony
This
drive-by
just happened.
shooting?
Yes, this just happened. What in
Oh,
all's balls in
wow.
Washington is going on?
So I'm gonna pull it up and we'll talk about that during Jugadores because I am like, oh Lord, maybe he was on that. Is it him or Gary that
53?
has?
This is what we doing at 53? This is what 53 looks like?
So he ain't learned yet
maybe
either.
Maybe he had a reverse day. He thought he was 35. I don't know. Even that's too old. So I don't know.
I mean, he was in Tacoma. I'll say that Tacoma. It's
They mentioned no thing of Tacoma.
no. It said Tacoma police
Tacoma?
said it's in
It does say
Tacoma.
Tacoma. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pierce County. He's
Okay.
in Tacoma. So that's yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we'll get to him and his gun
Yeah.
later. But we'll we'll start with Ja. So Ja is not going to be facing any criminal charges from the Colorado Police Department there. I can't remember the city he was in. It was just outside of Denver. It was after on Saturday, early Saturday morning, after they had lost to the Nuggets. He had an IG live. I'm sure we all know by now, with a gun in hand, dancing around, with music in a strip club with his shirt off. And then he comes out with a statement later that afternoon, which most likely is his PR team, who have been quite busy over the course of the last month, I'd assume, because there's been a few allegations and speculations in regards to Ja and things that he's been doing off the court. And then we got this. So he took a couple of days off, and we learned today that he's going to be out for at least 4 more games. There's
Okay.
been different opinions from, you've seen Shaq's perspective when we saw like the stack and the
Jalen Rose.
Jalen
Yeah, Jalen Rose
Rose,
spoke. Yeah.
Gilbert
Arenas.
Arenas had
Mhm.
his take because he was also had got suspended, I think, for the entire season when he was
DC.
doing the motions. Yes.
Yeah.
But he was a little different though, because he actually had
Paul
one in the
Pierce even
locker
said
room.
the same thing about the gun. Paul Pierce has a different take on it too. Like they've all had a different experience with having a weapon.
Yeah. Well, in the
It's different
NBA
this
does
time because
you
uh-huh.
because what?
Well, I just said it hits differently this time because we're in this bubble of the whole gun control laws, mass shootings, this kind of lens that we're in this space, and that's where it's triggering
Well, I
for
think it's also
anyone.
social media. Like when these other things were happening, social media. I mean, you weren't going live and showing what you was doing right then, and having to face the backlash right after. I mean, you might have
Oh
done
yeah, I
something had
get
a
that,
gun
but I
on
mean,
you.
I
Yeah,
think it's because the climate is so severe. Like his punishment is more severe than what Kyrie Irving went through and did. You understand what I'm saying? Like less severe, I should say, than what Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving lost contracts with Nike. They're not pulling
Well,
from John Morant.
so I differ on that. I don't think that he needed a more severe punishment. He was doing something quote unquote silly. And if we're being honest, a lot of gun owners flash their guns. And
Yeah,
the
they
only
do.
the only part that adds to it is whether or not he had a real gun when he was in the actual strip club, which is why they can't bring forward the charges.
Right.
They've already announced because they don't have a way. They have no way of ever proving there was a real gun in the strip club and that was all done at the same time. Now we can use common sense and say different things, but I don't feel like someone brandishing their own gun to be stupid or silly is a reason to lose a contract. I think that's the point too, of like we get too much with the curve. And I'll be honest, because I don't really quote unquote keep up with Kyrie's comments like that, I can't really get into justifying or not justifying what Nike did. I'm just saying strictly, I don't think that was a reason for Ja to lose any contracts. There seems to be more levels to the things with Kyrie and then the team and just too much to dive into. But Ja's is a little bit more isolated because had any other player, and we've seen it several times and people have to think about it, a lot of people do the gun thing, right? And I know he
Yeah.
was being silly because they had already brought it up before. That's a reason not to do it. But
Right.
again, these young bubble millionaires, and people think that money makes you smart because they always say you
no,
have too much money to do that.
no.
So the broke people can do it. Like what? So who can do
Right.
it? Right. So and I just really, like, I've said this and I've said it on my own personal page. People are blaming parents, and I'm like, we have to be really careful about blaming parents for adult decisions because
Right.
your kid's gonna
Mhm.
grow up too. So while you're being such this perfect parent in your bubble,
Right.
let me know if you can control everything your kid does at 26. You think any parent believe their kid was going to kill their spouse
Right.
or their own
Right.
kids, and we're going to say it's their parenting, they didn't respect them? You don't know that. You
These
don't know.
parents can't even control their high school students, their middle school students.
Well,
Like,
I mean, and
They
I don't,
can't
and I'm
control their
not trying to
toddlers
get into the
clearly because we
whole.
see them in the store running around and dropping cans and throwing stuff. So they can't even
Well,
do that at an early age.
I guess I'm saying, like, I would consider myself a decent kid, right? I didn't seek out to break the law or steal things
Mhm.
or whatever, but I had a pretty foul mouth and I made the honor roll. My mom didn't teach me to go around cursing all the time and thinking the F
Yeah.
bomb was cool, but it's like, oh, well, who raised her? My mother, so that's my take on that. Like
Yeah.
it's not
And
an
I agree with
exact
you. I don't think his
science.
contract should get pulled either. But I feel like the measure of severity when we're in this climate, like I said, about gun control, gun violence, everything about the guns, the school shootings, wouldn't that have been a more natural response with Nike doing that as opposed to Kyrie's just saying some things about a commentary of a documentary? I'm just
Well,
saying,
remember, we
like
don't
you said,
believe in
level.
gun control. That's the whole problem. We don't believe in gun control.
Yeah. As much as we
So,
do, and that's another reason why he won't lose his thing. That's the whole point I'm trying to make.
so,
Yes.
and then that's my point. If we punish
Yeah.
him that way, then we need to create better gun control. And since we don't
Right.
have that, then you can't punish him for doing what a owner of a gun is allowed to do.
Yeah. That's
Do
true.
we think this is going to be the last we hear of Jaws? I mean, yeah, if he gets back, he'll get back in the league and play. But is this going to be the last altercation or issue for Ja? Do you think he's learned his lesson from this?
I mean, he's still learning. He's young. He
I think
hasn't
he's still
developed. I
learning
mean,
and he's over it. And I think now the
we
problem
don't know.
is it'll be the scrutiny. It won't necessarily be that he did something worthy of a discussion, but just because you've already done it once, it's kind of like you put the mark on your back and you
Yeah.
can't get it off until people are ready to let up or move on to something else. So
Exactly.
and my point in that is the example with him making the gunshot thing on the sideline. That wasn't to harm anyone, but
Huh.
because of the action with the laser gun possibility, that becomes a big thing. We wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
even think about it that harsh. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, Kevin Durant's Instagram name is Easy Money Sniper. So I mean,
Yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
we're not opposed to using
Right.
that vernacular in sports. So
And it's a climate where these video games are popular. You've got all the shooting game. I mean, it's just
Well, they
it's
stopped passing the buck on that when the school shooting started happening. I haven't heard about the video
mm-mm.
games as much anymore as
correct.
I used
They
to.
have it's more
They
so
passed
just
the buck
Call
on
of
that. That's
Duty.
that's the whole thing. So
Correct.
now it's a new thing that they're doing. I have my phone on Do
Wow.
Not Disturb. I don't know why people are texting me. I segue. I'm sorry. I digress.
That's
It's
okay.
crazy.
You
I don't know
popular,
what's going
Mo. That's
on.
what it is. They
I
know
know.
you off today.
Not even. Like new phone, who this? Now everybody wants to voice me. I
Right,
should have stayed
right,
off the grid.
right. Well, if anything, maybe the strip club's getting some popularity off this one too, because now they're all in the news. Funny, the name of it was Shotgun Willies.
Oh
Even
Oh
wow.
my gosh, you're kidding,
right.
right?
No, I'm serious. Shotgun Willies was the name of the strip club. So
See, and it might have had fake guns in there for all we know. As
I mean,
I
they
prop,
just
ain't had
watched a
the. It's
TikTok where
not
they were
shot.
showing
It's
a
not
video.
pistol gun Willies. It was shotgun Willies. So who
Shotgun
knows?
Willies, still, yeah. I just watched a TikTok where they got these Glock 9s looking like water guns. And then the stitch comes in with the young black woman saying, "Black people, this toy is not for you. Don't do it." And not for nothing, the gun looked like similar to the one that John Moran was brandishing. I mean, it looked like a straight up Glock, but it was a water
Yeah.
pistol.
Well, I just
So
hope
what do
that
you
he
do?
also can
You
make
know?
some decisions on his circle that he keeps and the people that are near him. Because I know one thing that I found in common with most of these guys that have talked about, the ones that have been in the league that have had similar issues, is that they at least say, like, you're at a point where people should be telling you, no, don't do that, because they know what you've got going on. They know that the future you could hold. So, hey, if I'm with you, I'm like, man, get off. You are not doing that right here. No. I don't
Well,
know. I just
it's like Dame Dash says, don't hire your friends to do jobs and work for you. If they're your friends, why would you want them to be servants to you? Make them bosses. Make them be something else outside of just your circle tight. When you have security, Floyd Mayweather's security is about 6'8", huge guys, and he's this little guy. We know he can fight. But when you see Floyd out, he's with that security. That is hired help. Those aren't his friends. Those aren't his associates. When you get to a level of celebrity, that's what you need to invest in. Security companies are out there for a reason. You don't employ your friends to be servants to you. You employ them to be a Rich Paul, or you employ them to be something else. And if they can't get on the level of that, you pretty much have to leave them where they stand, because
I
they're
think
not
that's
on
the
the
part
growth.
of it. They not on that level for that. I don't know if
Well,
he wants to
he's
make someone.
enabling them to not be on that level. Their
Yeah.
mentality is that, and the fact that it's who he associates with. You either grow or you don't. You stay there, and you sometimes got to leave people behind. And people, let's be
Yeah.
real. You have friendships for a season. I know there's probably friends you girls had growing up, ace boon coons, and ain't heard from in decades. Sometimes people come in your life for different seasons. Sometimes they're not there all the way through your journey. That's the situation with him too.
Oh, I just straight up put him out.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
have been done with it.
Yeah, I'd have been done. Like if you on that thug stuff, you're gonna have to stay on that corner because you're not gonna be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is who
Now I
you
want
are.
this money. Now I'm getting paid and I got to be
Yeah.
responsible. But hey.
Yeah.
So good luck to Ja, and hopefully, he's able to continue to learn and make positive choices. But let's get into this other hot topic of the quarterback situation. I do want to provide a short video of one of my favorite guys out there on the social media, Benchwarmer Brand, because he definitely broke this one down. Check it out.
Derek Carr and Geno Smith can get long-term deals, but I get smacked upside the head with the franchise tag. That's great. I mean, you are asking for way more than what they got. Yeah, because I'm worth way more than what they got. Hey, I'm the best quarterback in the NFC South now. Have some respect. Derek, that bar is so low a drunk hamster could jump over it. All right, at least give some props to Geno. You're right. Geno, congrats. Hell of a story. Honestly, I'm still in shock. Imagine 5 years ago someone told you Geno Smith would get a $100 million contract. You'd never believe him. Actually, I would. I just would have assumed you were still bad and it was the Browns that gave you that contract. Hey guys, Daniel Jones just got paid too. You've got to be kidding me. It's okay, Lamar. You'll be one of us soon enough. God, there is no us. That's the whole point. I'm sorry, but I'm on a different level than you guys. A different level? What, so you're telling me everyone who's ever called me Vanilla Vic has just been being sarcastic and people have hyped me up to be way better than I actually am? That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes. Oh. Well, that's kind of mean. Hey, Lamar, look, I know you're upset about the tag, but we're working to get you some new weapons, okay? All right, I guess that's a start. Who is it? Well, yeah, let me save you the trouble. I read a report yesterday that someone from the Ravens said, and I quote, "My nipples are hard for Alan Lazard." Alan Lazard. You're not only going to sign, but make weird sexual advances toward Alan Lazard. We're targeting Byron Pringle, too. I'm going to Miami.
So, Mo can't get rid of Derek Carr because he went to her second team. We've got Derek Carr going on with the Saints. $150 million, 100 guaranteed for 4 years. I mean, he got paid. He did what he wanted. He wanted to get some money. And
he's gonna fly back to Vegas and do Sunday service.
Yeah, he will. He'll find a nice church there. He'll find a nice church there in New Orleans.
Yeah, set up a church.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I can't shake the guy, and I'm honestly shocked that they gave him that, as a part of his contract. But poor Jameis Winston, huh?
Yeah, that doesn't look like it's going to be good for him. And then, it was funny because Michael Thomas got into the conversation about can't wait for you to be here. And I'm like, we haven't even seen Michael Thomas for how many years? So are you playing this year? How about that? Let's start there. And then, we got Geno. I didn't realize this. Geno, over his 10 years in the league, had only made I only say only, but in football terms, only made $17.5 million. He made $7 million last year after his incentives kicked in. And he's got a 3-year, $105 million contract with 52 in the first year. So as he should. Big time.
As he should. He worked for it.
And then we got Lamar. So, ladies, I mean, you can give me Natasha, give us your stance on what you feel about, do you feel like Aaron's going to the New York? Is Lamar going to find a home outside of Baltimore? Inclinations?
So first, the legalities, right? With the Lamar situation, they're using the new CBA against him, right? And, this exclusive, non-exclusive tag is really a waste of time. It's basically saying we're only going to give you what we said. We'll put this number right here, right at a threshold where they'll have to give us these picks if they take you, and nobody's going to do it. And the reason nobody's going to do it is because everybody's at a sit and wait. It doesn't have to be right now. There are very few teams that have to try to win next year, so they're not going to bite on it. It's not a conversation about whether or not he's worth it. Hell yeah, he's worth it. For the same reason Deshaun was worth it, right? They're good quarterbacks, period. End of discussion. But the problem is the CBA is set up in such a certain way now that that's what he's stuck with. And it's a lazy tactic. And I understand analytics says to the Ravens, we've gotten by with mediocre quarterbacks and won Super Bowls. We've competed with average quarterbacks. Why do we have to pay all of this when we can go get an average quarterback?
Right.
And that's part of the problem, right? So unfortunately, he will be in Baltimore, and it's either he won't play or he'll play on that horrible tag, and somebody will wait it out and take him. And technically, honestly, it's not fair to compare what Seattle decided to do for Geno and what Baltimore won't do for Lamar, because Seattle didn't say Lamar or Geno, let's pay Geno.
Right.
You know what I mean? The Saints didn't say David or Lamar, so let's pay David. The Baltimore Ravens held on to the last day that they could decide to extend the tag. They never said, like, at least with David, we knew well in advance they were opening the door to let him discuss
with
other options, right? So at that point, you're trying to see what's available for this player, if we could trade him, if it'll work. Okay, it won't work. Now let's move to this other option. Lamar was never offered for a trade.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, they know a trade would not be just 2 first-round picks. It would have been some other players, some other things, and it probably would have happened. Somebody would have jumped at it. So you make the offer so unattractive because you know you want the player.
And that's crazy for those 2 first-round picks. Is like, that's just
and honestly, I'm from a team that did that, right? I'm from a team that did that for a lineman. We did it for offensive linemen, and people called us what? Crazy, stupid, wasting picks. And at the end of the day, he's still a great lineman. He's one of the best. But at the end of the day, 2 first-round picks hurt us more than it gained to get him at.
Sure.
We suffered after that pick. His play went up, but our team as a whole suffered.
I mean, look at my team and Jamal Adams. Like, we gave away 2 first-round picks. We've seen him play a total, I think, 6 games over the course of the last 2 years. So
just name me a team that gave up 2 first-round picks and it amounted to okay. Yeah. Because even the Rams, right? They gave up picks at different times to get the team they needed last year to win, and literally look at them now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. It'll be
so
interesting.
What's going on with y'all with Mariota being gone? Who y'all got up next?
Who's y'all?
The Texans don't got Mariota, do they?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm tripping.
I was like, Mariota. When did Mariota go to Texas?
Mariota. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I don't know why I was thinking Texas for him. I don't know why.
Maybe because Babrill came from the Texans. Maybe because his coach came from there.
Yeah, that's probably what I was thinking. I don't know.
But Mariota wasn't even in Tennessee last. Remember, because Tannehill took his spot. He's been in Atlanta. He got released out of Atlanta.
That's what I was saying after I fact. I was like, wait, it was Atlanta, not the Texans. You know, that's why you guys were so oblivious.
Do you guys have a quarterback right now?
We have one still on contract. But I'm hoping they make a smart decision. That's all I can say.
Oh, okay.
You know, not to get into draft prospects, it just at this point, I think no matter who they draft at quarterback, we need so much more. So it's not a plug and play. We need a team. So
we need a 5-year plan.
Right. So for me, I'm like, okay, let's move up to 6 to 7 wins next year. What puts you in a position to get 6 to 7? And I'm not being funny, that you don't have to overachieve in year 1. You just got to get some guys in the door you can rely on, and then you can kind of flirt with free agency. I think right now today you're a hard sell for free agency, and D'Amico made the hard shell crack a little, but you're still a hard sell. I mean, coming to play for a great coach sells you a little bit, but you're not just going to have guys going, that team looks Yeah, I got to get that
I
spot.
want to go to Houston.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, like Justin Reed, he's
Yeah,
given
'cause-
several interviews about leaving the Texans and going to Kansas City. And in his conversation, he was like, he looked at what was there: an attractive coach, an attractive quarterback, good pieces, solid team core that just needed oomph. And he proved that they just needed a little oomph, and that's it. And you run into the light with it. It wasn't hard last year, right, to convince Odell to sign with the Rams, right? Because they had all the little people. This is a shiny.
It was
little,
easy.
It was
Yeah.
it's easy. We're not easy. so
yeah,
at
clearly,
this point,
and that record ain't easy to look at either.
no, it's not.
I mean, you might need to just do like one of the Seahawks notorious moves and just take a pick, trade down for like 6 picks for that pick, and then you're getting a good roster maybe of like 4th and 5th rounders that can just start working towards the bit.
I think the only problem is you have another division rival sitting right behind you in this draft, and you can't afford to let them pick spots over you. You just can't afford it. You want to grab before they grab, period.
Yeah. Well,
So
we wish you and your team good luck. We also wish
I don't know
you.
why I was thinking Atlanta. I don't know why I was thinking Atlanta on my mind.
You mean Texas? He was talking
No,
about
Atlanta with Mariota. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
why I was thinking that with Mariota on my mind with Atlanta. Like, I don't know why I was thinking that.
Natasha, where can people find you and follow you, your YouTube, your social media handles, so they can come tap in with you?
I just try to keep life simple. I'm at the Gransberry, my last name. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'll be ramping up my baseball trips this summer.
Nice.
I'm actually headed back to Phoenix in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna try to catch KD in Phoenix.
Very
I'm trying to do
cool.
that too.
And see what that looks like. And so I'll be there in a couple of weeks to see them. I don't know hard no play. I'm gonna catch that Philly game, Philly versus the Suns, and somebody might not play, but I'm okay with that. I just want to knock off another arena too. And of course, if people don't know, when they have the Super Bowl, the basketball team is always out of town because you usually
Of
need
course.
the venue. You usually need
Right.
the venue. So they were out of town at the time, and they came back the day I left. But I'll be ramping up baseball, and I'll be going to the Final Four. So I'll have some exciting details. And I love that I went last year, so I'll be able to compare how my city does it. This is our 3rd time, but I actually never attended when we had it. The second time I wasn't living in the city. But I always went to the pregame events, like I said, but it's very different to try to actually attend the game. So I'm looking forward to that. But the Gransberry is where I'm at until I catch up with you guys again in Vegas. I always get one or the other, the last
I
couple
know.
times.
And I really love
being
my
me
little
and
football.
Mo.
That was so thoughtful of you. It's such a brilliant person. I have to rock it this season for sure because I didn't really go to any other games after I saw you.
Let me teach you a trick. You take a clear bag and you put your purse in the bag. And then once you're inside, you carry your purse because the bag is technically larger than the clutch, but anything in the clear bag can go in.
Listen, they stopped me because they thought it was a real football. Now I can't bring a football into the game. And I was like, wait, what? No, this is a purse.
When?
And it took the lady security guard to be like, that's a purse. It's fine. I was like, thank you. Thank you.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to pull that at Allegiant with me.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, no,
all right, well,
call people. She's got people.
Right.
Steph says it was great seeing you on the show.
Thanks, Steph.
Thank you. So good to see you.
We appreciate you.
And hopefully I see you guys before, but if
Yes.
not, I'll be in Vegas for Usher's birthday because I want to see Usher on his birthday. So,
oh, yeah, go.
Yeah. It's not till
When is that?
October, but hopefully, if not, it'll be October and then again, Super Bowl.
Well, you know, MLB All-Stars in Seattle.
I know I'm in debate. Only because I'm going to NASCAR. In Chicago.
Ooh.
The street
that.
Dang, that sounds good.
Weekend. And so
that'll be fun. Do that.
Yeah.
Will that be your first NASCAR?
Going. It's booked.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is that your first NASCAR?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, we just had a race out here.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. I saw. I was jealous So you guys have a great show. I always love talking to you. Always love watching you.
Nice.
You're
And we
you're
love you
awesome
too.
We
representation of
love you,
Women's
sis.
International Day, and I want to salute you on that as well. You know, you guys are a great fit and team, and I just I love
Thank
you.
you.
I can't wait to get what I need now is I need a patch, because that patch that's on the beanie I have for you guys, I love it. But now it's hot, so I can't wear the patch. So I can't wear the beanie.
I might
So
have a patch, or I got a pin. I'll get sent
Yeah,
you
maybe
a
the
pin.
pin to put on a jean jacket or something.
Yeah,
I got
because
a small
had
pin.
stickers.
Yeah.
I had stickers.
No, I
You
got
know,
you.
Pins.
but I need
think I got a pin too.
I want to represent when I
Yes,
go.
I got you. I
appreciate that.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So,
Well, we appreciate you. We thank you. Make sure to check out Natasha Gransberry at the
Yes.
Gransberry, Miss Stadium Queen. We appreciate you. Thank you. And we will see you next time. Hopefully, we'll see you sooner before Super Bowl next year.
all right, peace.
All
All
right.
right. Take care.
Bye.
In the heart of Texas
Yes.
lives a
Hilarious.
stadium queen named Tasha.
Hey, so did you read the report on Sean Kemp? Because
I tried to. I was trying, like it came across my phone. Like I said, I thought I had to do not
Okay,
disturb on
so
it. That's
here
when
we
I had
are.
the
Former
accident.
NBA star Sean Kemp arrested
Jeez.
Wednesday today and booked into Pierce County Jail, which is Tacoma. Tacoma police said that an altercation between occupants of two vehicles near the Tacoma Mall. Any of my people in Seattle know it's not a place. Tacoma Mall led to shots being fired early Wednesday afternoon. No injuries were reported, and one of the cars fled the scene. According to the release from the police department on social media, a gun was recovered and investigation ongoing. Online records for Pierce County show that Kemp, 53, was booked on a felony drive-by shooting charge at 5:58 local time, about 4 hours after the incident. Kemp, of course, a six-time NBA All-Star who played 14 seasons in the league, including 8 with the Sonics, and selected in the interesting to see how that's gonna.
Averaging
wow.
14 points a game.
But
Yeah.
a charge with a drive-by? Come on, man.
You know your city. What's going on in your project? You
It's
tell me.
Tacoma. It's Tacoma. It ain't that wouldn't. I mean, it could happen in Seattle. I will say that, but Tacoma is notorious for more gun violence than Seattle. But Tacoma, I still don't go to Tacoma very often. That's it. Period.
Well, it seems like it sounds like that's the environment. It comes with the territory. But why is he
I
there?
mean, but why are you 53 doing all this?
But that's my question. I'm like, well, why is he there?
I have no idea. Maybe he had an event or something.
Well, not to say Florida's any better, but you couldn't stay in Orlando or move somewhere else like you're Sean Kemp. Like, why are we still in these streets?
Who knows? Who knows? It's a lot. Also update on Michael Irvin. We all had talked about this before in regards to him getting kind of booted off the NFL network during Super Bowl because of the allegations that a woman had made against him at the Marriott Hotel. Apparently, there was two men in Phoenix and then in the hotel at the same time from two different. One was from Australia, one was from Philly, and so obviously no connection to him. But they mentioned that they saw him. It appeared that there was nothing wrong in the altercation. That it was very brief. The woman appeared friendly. So, Irvin's got $100 million defamation lawsuit against this person and the Marriott, and rightfully so. And I think that his attorney even mentioned that he got a chance to see a portion of the video, and that basically just showed Irvin shaking her hand, and he touched her on the elbow twice. So I don't know where sexual assault came from by touching elbows, but I don't know.
I mean, if you touch somebody, I don't want nobody touching me. Get paid if you think you could do it.
Sure. I mean, hey.
I mean, if you can, but it sounds like she's not going to get away with it because now there's video and there's witnesses and all that. Maybe that wasn't the lie she should have said. Shout out to Mike Dixon.
Shout out to Mike Dixon. Yeah. Mike Dixon might know about Tacoma now because he's been out in the Pacific Northwest a lot.
That's right. He's in the Washington.
You better get that breaking news in the Sean Kemp story, Mike, while you out there.
Mike, talk about it. Let us know. What's the tea? Give us a copy of that police report. Let's see what really went down.
Some other news. So listen, Tiger just can't catch a break with women. I don't know what it is.
I saw
this longtime girlfriend of his since like 2017, Erica Herman, she filed a lawsuit to nullify the non-disclosure agreement that she had signed when they started dating. But the only reason requesting that it be nullified is due to a citing a law which is for sexual abuse cases called the Speak Out Act. Now, she hasn't filed any actual allegations towards him, but if you're trying to nullify an NDA due to the Speak Out Act, that means that something regarding sexual abuse may have happened or what. So
She needs money.
probably that. Well, she doesn't need money because he kicked her out of her house.
Yeah,
And
she
from
needs
what
money.
she said is that, and what man would ever say this? Yeah, once I kick you out, once we break up, you can stay for 5 years. Huh? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
he changed the locks and everything. I mean, she needs money, Melissa. Like, first of
Oh,
all,
of
you
course.
signed an NDA in consent. You got a great lawyer who found a loophole in said NDA, and this is what we can file it under, and now you can try and get paid.
Yeah, exactly, Steph. They told her to leave pack a bag, and they sent her off on vacation and then told her she couldn't come back to the house.
Yeah, basically, and he changed the locks, and she's mad because she's broke and needs money. And she
Oh,
may have someone in
man.
her circle of friends who's an excellent attorney who gave her some free legal advice of this is what you could do, and this is who you could
And
speak
here we
with.
are. And here we
Yeah.
are. We're going to move into some Vegas sports real quick. Hey, big shout out to Kelsey Plum, Darren Waller that tied the knot
Yes.
this Saturday. Looking lovely. Looks like they had a great time.
I know. Where was the venue? That's my question.
I don't know. I was
was in
thinking like maybe
Vegas.
like a country club, like one of those, like maybe like I don't know.
I don't know. Those sticks and trees is not looking like Vegas. I need to know where that venue is. That's all
They
I want to
said
know.
it was Vegas, but yeah, maybe if we see her, we'll have to ask her where she got married during the season
Yeah,
because she
fabulous.
looks phenomenal.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, very.
And shout out to Mad Max. He got married this weekend too. Same
Oh yeah,
weekend.
dang.
Our Raider, Mad
So
Max.
much
is getting
going
married, too.
on. So much going
He
on.
and his wife and a newborn. Their wedding pics were amazing. I should have sent them to you today, but they were
Oh,
just
dang,
beautiful
yeah.
as well.
Well, good.
Um,
Right now, let me check a score. The UNLV
Yes.
the Lady Rebels are playing for the championship, the Mountain West tournament. I'm gonna have to find. Let me see if I can. If anybody's in the chat and knows the score of the UNLV game, let us know because the Lady Rebels are playing right now for the championship to hopefully go back to back again in the championships. Also, Coach The Rock was named Coach of the Year.
Nice.
And we also, Kiara Jackson was the 6th person of the year. Essence Booker, Justice Etheridge, and Desiree Young were all Mountain West first team. Of course, they went back to back in the regular season for Mountain West, but they are playing now, and I'm hoping they're winning. I mean, they've been clobbering the Mountain West this season too, so we'll see how that goes. So if anybody's out there can give us an update on the score, we would appreciate it.
Yeah, and our men won today too, in overtime.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Well, there's something to be proud about.
So if the men can win tonight, I'm darn sure our women should be.
Mike Dixon with the come through. Thank you, Michael Dixon. Oh, and Stephanie. Sorry, 31-28. Lady Rebs up at the half. So it's halftime up by 3. All right, well, we're going to try to wrap this up so we can try and watch it too. UFC 258 took place in Vegas over the weekend. John Jones back after 3 years off, 43 pounds heavier, and it only took him 2 minutes to beat his opponent in the
first round. Let's go.
Crazy. So
I mean, this is indicative to UFC right now. This is where we're at right now. They do not have any compelling fighters to match up with some of these people. Who is fighting really in UFC? Are we going into now? It's all about boxing. I mean, okay.
You got to listen, you got to offer Francis what he wants and get Francis back here to go at it with him. I think that would be a phenomenal fight.
Francis needs to go into boxing against Tyson Fury or someone like that in the weight class. We need to see him on the boxing circuit, but they're not going to bring Francis back. And even if they did, they don't have anybody to match up to him anyway on contention. This is like UFC. What was it? 258. Which one was this one?
285.
385. That's where we're at right now. So many series of these doggone episodes of UFC and no good contenders. You pull John Jones out 3 years hiatus in the dark, and he still can come in and knock the brakes out of somebody in the first round.
He is a little bit of a difference. John Jones is.
What did we pay for? What did we pay for?
He's got like the
What do we pay
athletic
for on that?
family. He comes from genes that are just able to like rip through things. So I don't know. It's insane.
That's
So
even worse. That's even worse. You know he's that best of a specimen athlete, and you
they
put him.
better be finding
Come
some
on, what
people
are we
on
paying
these
for?
Friday night fights to come out and
They
get
got to do
this
better.
work.
They got to do better. People
Yeah,
that
well,
have interest in the
They
UFC,
got to pay
need to
more.
look
They
at the
got to
rates and
have,
everything.
good benefits. They got to do more for the actual fighters to
Yeah,
want them
that's
to
what I'm
be
saying.
out
They got to
here.
pay them, because otherwise we're going to have these fights here, and it's going to be that 1-2 knockout first round. And what are we paying for? Your preliminaries
Exactly.
are your best way to watch, and then when you get
I
to the
know.
main card, it's over.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Our Golden Knights are up and down. We did get some acquisitions. We had a couple last minute trades. We got a new goalie, Jonathan Quick. He had his first debut and won for the Knights. We got Ivan Barbashev, who I think he's got like 3 or 4 goals already in his first week. So good out for
That's
him.
what's
But
up.
we are tied for first with the Kings. We're both tied for 82 points. Kraken are only 2 points behind that. So the Pacific Division is really boiling down.
It's
and we actually
getting heavy.
We play the Kraken twice, I believe, if not this month, it's in April. They played the Kraken twice. So we're coming back into these man, it's a tough one.
Man, that's hectic.
And it's tough having like these rotating goalies because you never know. It's so many injuries. I don't know. It's a lot.
Mhm.
So I did want to say, me and Sarah did get to go. I needed to break down a little bit. We're going to go over time, but I had to talk about the Vipers game. Sarah and I went there. We enjoyed a little Vipers action. The XFL is here in Las Vegas. We are only 0-3, though. We have yet to win. We played the Sea Dragons. I was happy to see the Seattle team there. Josh Gordon went off, had 2 touchdowns. The game was good. I enjoyed it. I will
What's
say
that
this.
field looking like, Melissa? What's the field?
Terrible. Listen,
what's the crowd looking like, Melissa?
Well, here's the deal. The first home game, which was week 2, there was not only the heavy rains, so that I think affected. I think there was still like 6,000 people there game 2. I didn't get the quote. I didn't get the quote for game 3, but it was high winds to where the goalposts were literally swaying. There were people standing with flags for the Vipers, like at the corner of the field, that were literally, you could see that they couldn't even hold it. So the wind was so crazy, so that affected a lot. But I will say, what killed me the most is that we actually sat in the club level. And shout out to my boy Shane. If anybody wants to get club level tickets, I got a connect for you. It's good. It's also where the media sit too, so you're indoors, which is nice during those terrible Vegas weather days.
And rain and stuff.
But check out where the clock is that I had to. There's literally 3 play clocks. There's 3 time clocks. One's like on I call it the XFL Music Festival announcing board, because it looks like you're at a music festival, and they have a small screen there. There's one literally behind you, and then there's this one.
Go, buddy, go.
You see how far that clock? You see how far that clock is? Here's the deal, and I got good eyes. Now, I tell everybody I got good eyesight. I never had glasses, knock on wood. They need to fix some stuff there, because not only that, but then you're supposed to have a big screen to watch if you're like in a different position and can't see the field. Like, because, most of since the game, it is a baseball field, there's not people on the other side. So you've got fans down the Vipers sideline and then in the end zone. So for those in the end zone that aren't seeing what's happening on the other end zone, there should be a large screen that you can watch it. And there maybe is like a 100-inch screen that they can watch from the,
There's a cold part about it. They're there next season too. That's the cold part about it.
And Steph mentioned just something with the parking. Well, apparently it's not the Vipers. Apparently that's Cashman. We got to talk to Cashman about that $20 fee, because that's what's ridiculous. And the clock, Mike said the clock's anti. Listen, I don't even know who. I for the first quarter, I just kept asking Sarah, "What?" See it, Mike. I just said, "What? How much time is left? Where is the clock?" There's
Check
no
this out.
clock.
When you showed the video, I was squinting and coming close to the phone like this, trying to look for the clock until you zoomed in. I'm like, "Where the freak is it?" Then even when you zoomed in, I still literally couldn't see it. And I'm sitting at home watching it on a screen. That's crazy.
Listen, The Rock, Dwayne, and Miss Danny Garcia need to figure something else out for season 2
I
because
give them props
this
for
can't
trying to
be
bring
it.
this out here, but it sounds like
For
a mess.
sure. Or maybe it needs to be a different city. I love it being in Vegas, but if
Yeah,
there's no
I
venue
don't
that
have.
can
I don't
take it, if Sam Boyd's closed and there's nowhere else we can go, I mean,
Well,
it's
Sam
just
Boyd's not allowing it because that's UNLV and Allegiant. They have an agreement. They
well, no,
can't use
Sam
any of
Boyd,
it.
no, Sam Boyd, you can't. There's nothing. It's closed. You can't even have anything at Sam
No,
Boyd.
they're not even allowed to. Yeah, they're not even allowed. It still belongs to UNLV, but they're not allowing anybody in there. Like that's their
Well, it's
agreement with Allegiant.
yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
closed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They can't even do it even if they wanted to because their agreement with Allegiant is they can't even open it up for any event. So it's a wrap. Yeah.
Yeah, it's closed. Like no one can
Yeah,
go
yeah.
there. Period. Like it's
Yeah.
done. It's terminated. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
Steph, the crowd was cool. There definitely seems. I mean, it was cool because obviously me being a Seahawks fan, the Sea Dragons being there, a lot of the fans that were Seattle fans showed up in like Seahawks uniforms. But there's a lot of Dicor Viper fans. Some fans had the Vipers uniforms from where I think they were in like San Antonio or something before. I can't remember where
Yeah,
that
I can
city
do
was
without it.
before. But
It's
you know,
not
it was
necessary
fun.
here.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think it
We
would be
can totally do
better.
without it.
I think plus last weekend you had NASCAR, you had the UFC fight. So there was so much going on. I think that also affected the
I don't think that
attendance.
competition was anything to XFL. You're either going to be a fan of this thing or you're not. That's just
Well, I
basically
think
what
if
it
you're
is.
just trying to find sports to watch, supposed to had Big League here. The Big League weekend was last weekend and this weekend. So I think
Yeah.
if you're looking for something to do, those might fall a little higher on your want to do list.
I think it would file higher on anybody. I think shopping for the day at Target would file higher on priority list than going out there. If you're telling me that the field is looking like that, they should have maybe done indoors or something like that, possibly.
Well, no, that would be arena football, and they already have that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
And then the arena football team has a way better scenario over there at the Dollar Loan Center.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I know.
That's crazy.
I did want to.
Like I said, it's you see it on the news saying, "Oh, there's XFL game." Do you make the choice to get in the car and go? I don't know.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know. Because all I could think of is the lights when I was seeing the highlights on it. Even when they did the little story on XFL, nothing changed. It's still Cashman Field. Still those bleachers.
And it's sad to see those other teams out there that have these nice college stadiums they're playing at, and they got crowds. Like the DC Defenders had a whole beer snake line down the entire side. I mean, it was just those are dope venues.
Maybe it should have been a Reno played at UNR.
That would be good.
They should have been a Reno.
Listen,
we don't need a Vegas.
You better hit up Danny and tell her. Let her know.
Right?
Yeah. I did want to shout out earlier, the Pelicans, the Mavs had an all-women broadcast. What I didn't realize is not only was it Cassidy, Doris, and Beth, but they also had all women in the control room. They had all women on the cameras, all women referee. I mean, it was just a dope scene for that.
Doris. Yeah, I heard Doris when I was watching the game.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. Also, shout out for the NBA on TNT. They gave flowers to all the women's staff there. And then, of course, if you caught Becky Hammond today, she was on the NBA Countdown with Malika Andrews and Monica McNutt and Chine and Ramona Shelburne. It was a dope show with them. It was great to see. I love seeing Becky on there. So they had a girl power moment as well.
I agree with Mike. Yeah, the Battlehawks, because it's arena. Better looking, better aesthetic, better venue. I agree.
Arena. They got a brand new arena for them.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, 100%. That's a no-brainer there, for real.
Yeah.
They should have never brought him here.
They got to do more. And what's crazy is that when you see them during halftime, leaving and coming, the visitors have to go through the end zone to get to the visitors' locker room, which is the baseball dugout. You're literally going into dugouts to.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
that's a shame.
It's a lot. Shout out to Paul Gasol.
Yes,
one of your Lakers got his jersey retired. Gets to be next to Kobe.
For that.
Yeah,
I know you like that. Night. And to see the video replay about Kobe wanting to be retired around the same time as Gasol and promising that their jerseys would be next to each other. It's just so
that was
chilling and
Crazy how it
It's
came about.
crazy how that goes. And so,
And shout out to the Lakers for giving out replica jerseys for the entire. I mean,
well, they
that's
needed to.
yeah,
They needed to. That was a dope look for real. Like
yeah.
we needed that, especially the way our Lakers are playing right now. We're close to getting into a play-in. So we
Listen,
needed
coming
that.
through that play-in time, I think you guys are 9th right now or something. Then
Yeah,
you know
we're ninth.
Gasol
Yeah.
got his jersey outside of his hometown in Spain.
Yeah.
Man,
Go ahead,
that's
Pau
good.
Gasol. I always like Pau. He's a stand-up guy, stand-up player. He's godfather to Kobe's children, very close
Yep.
to the family. They were I didn't realize their relationship was as close as they were until
Oh yeah,
Kobe had passed. And so
yeah. I
just to
don't
see
think
that,
many
and
of
then
us
Vanessa
knew.
Bryant's speech, it just was like a ball of emotions. Like, here we go. But
Yeah,
well deserved, about time.
for sure.
We wanted to see that.
Absolutely.
He is always a Laker to us. He's a legend. We love
Yeah.
Pau. That's our guy.
Speaking of Lakers, what's your thought on street clothes right now?
Street Clothes
Because
needs to be a team leader, and I think he played very well last night. I think he executed, and I think everyone in their role positions did
even
what they
after
needed to
getting
do.
band-aided up and smacked and bleeding, I mean, he came back and put it through, which was amazing to see him get hurt, have to go back,
Yeah,
leaving,
they
and
need
then
to
to come
tell the
back
old
and
man,
play.
like, hey, I got this. He needs to tell the old man, I got this. I can be a leader of this team and step up. It's long overdue that I need to. Shout out to Troy Brown Jr. for that 3. Vegas's finest, Oregon Ducks finest. Troy Brown Jr. shot that 3. Man, listen. Shout
That's
out to him.
good.
We love our
Hey,
Vegas
you
boys.
guys are even pushing towards just getting into the regular playoffs. Like you are, I think, 9th right now on like 2.5 games. I think they said last night in regards to
we got a 2-game break. Play Golden State on Thursday. We'll see what happens with that. Or do we play?
Is
Yeah,
it
we play
in Golden State or
on
is it in LA?
Thursday.
Because the Warriors have been
we just
playing
played
like
them.
crap on the road. These Warriors can't win a game on the road to save their lives, even with Steph.
Yeah, but I ain't counting the Warriors out either.
Well,
I'm
no,
not
you
giving
can't
up
count
on
them
them
out,
either.
but
You can't. I'm not giving up on them. They're 6th
Yeah.
right now in the league, which is not a bad standing. The West is just super duper stacked. And I don't feel
Unbelievable.
like, with Phoenix.
well, and then because now you got
Warriors,
KD and Kyrie here. They both matched up on Sunday. Suns came out the
Mhm.
victor in that one, but that was the first chance we got to see KD out there doing his thing. I mean,
Yeah, but I don't see them going any further either. Denver is a juggernaut. Joker might get the MVP 3rd time in a row.
yeah.
There's no racial bias to it. That's just what it is. Who else is gonna get it? I don't know anybody else that could get it. They're 46 wins in on the West. Bucks have 47.
yeah.
I don't see anybody else with it. He is the most valuable player. When I did fantasy draft, of course, Joker was the first one scooped up. That's who you're gonna take.
Yeah. That's
And
what
he's
it
highly
is.
effective. Hasn't been hurt. Got Aaron Gordon over there. Got all these other people. I mean, it's just listen.
So
the
I
key
got
to winning the West is to be deep in your bench. For Phoenix to only have 3 bigs and get rid of Mikal Bridges, and shout out to Mikal Bridges for bringing it to Boston the other night. Mikal Bridges, who they gave up in Phoenix, was the biggest mistake of
the
their lives.
Knicks, boy, they had
Look
that
what he did.
9-game streak.
Come on.
Unbelievable.
I need y'all
Double
to stop
overtime
it.
with the
Y'all got rid of
Celtics.
him?
Jeez.
Y'all don't look for the future, do you? You still with this big 3 mentality when you know it's just the Tito's that want to play ball.
Right.
And you get rid of it. Yeah. Okay.
So one thing, I know you don't like talking about these Clippers. You don't like that talking about the little baby team in LA, but this is hilarious. There's a video. So, the team was all present for the stadium, they're outside the new stadium that's getting built for them because they're going to be moving out of your house. They got their own, the Inuit Dome. But Steve Ballmer had the funniest clip ever as he talks about the toilets for the new arena.
Toilets!
Let's see.
1,160 toilets and urinals. 3 times the NBA average number of toilets and urinals. We do not want people waiting in line. We want them to get back to their damn seats at the end of the half before the game.
He's proud about his 3 times the normal number of toilets in an arena.
It's still gonna take a minute to get back to their seat. I mean, come on. All right.
I just couldn't. It was too much. Hey, and then you
That
sent me
is. That's
this,
hilarious.
and I cannot wait. If they're filming in Vegas, I need to be there watching this filming go down because apparently Jonathan Majors is now going to be playing Dennis Rodman in the upcoming movie 48 Hours in Vegas. Of course, if you watched,
I live for it.
if you watched The Last Dance, if you even know if you were around during these years, Dennis took off to Vegas for 48 hours and I already know they're gonna get into some things.
I want to see it all, and I
I
hope
want to know
it
where it's
trumps
getting
the role.
filmed. I want to be an extra in this shot. Like, what is the deal?
I need Jonathan Majors for number one to keep his body the way it is too for this role.
Man, please.
I don't need him to lean up on.
Don't get
this.
skinny.
He
Don't get
can keep
skinny.
he can keep the Creed body, you know.
Right.
Secondly, I'm very curious to see how they're gonna make this happen, and I wonder if Mark Wahlberg has something to do with this, because of the simple fact that he's a Boston fan, he hates the Bulls, but he's trying to do a whole film production and studio out here in Vegas and bring more cinema to Vegas, and I just wonder if his name is tapped onto this too.
Hey, we shall see. I
Yeah.
did want to give a quick shout out too, because the Las Vegas Aces did team up with Fox 5 News here locally to do broadcasts for the game. They're going to be doing like 30-minute pre and post game shows for those that get aired nationally. Unfortunately, for most of us, the Aces, all their games will still be on the same network, which has terrible video coverage, and they be on like 1080i or they on 700K. I don't know. It'd be too much. But they did team up with the Aces and Fox 5. We've got 7 nationally televised regular season games. Of course, they're going to show a few of them. I think our opener is with the Storm, so that's going to be good. We also have our ring ceremony that's going to take place in that first home game as well.
Wait.
Right.
Yeah, season tickets are still available, you guys. They're not expensive. Season tickets if you want.
For some girl power, because I know we're getting over the hump here, but for some girl power, I did want to acknowledge the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers front office has 4 current or former WNBA players: scout Tina Thompson, director of basketball strategy Asia Jones, scouting manager Sherry Sham, and then intern Avina Westbrook. Here's something about Avina Westbrook. This will be her second year. Her first year playing with the Mystics. She decided to not go overseas, which most players do to get their extra income. She decided to take up as an intern with the Blazers because she had some UConn hookups within this scenario here. Decided to learn both on court and in office from the Blazers organization. She said she had mentioned how she was seeing what Dame Lillard puts into his work ethic and what he's doing in practice. And then she took off and went to Athletes Unlimited. So this is something new for, I think, players that usually are used to seeing players leaving the league, going overseas, coming back in time. We've got Athletes Unlimited that is in season 2. Shout out to Sydney Colson and to KB, who are both playing in that. So dope for the Portland Trailblazers. They are definitely the leading the way for women in that sport. Also, got to give it up to the Gamecocks. Got to give it up to Dawn Staley.
Right.
These ladies, there we go. Nope. Here we go. 32-0. 7th SEC women's title since 2015. Mind you, it's 2023, so they've literally had almost every year with an SEC title. An 11th consecutive NCAA tourney bid.
That's
crazy.
Her team for real.
Listen, and I've had Caitlin in the girl power before, but I gotta do it again. Listen,
you got to.
I swear to God, I am more excited for women's March Madness here than I am for men's. Caitlin Clark, the only player, man or woman, who has recorded 25 points, 15 assists, 10 rebounds in a game over the last 20 seasons. The only player, man or woman, in the last 20 seasons. And get this, she did it twice.
Yeah, she's a beast.
Man, listen.
She's a beast. She's a beast.
I can't. I got a couple shoes. I'm just gonna go through them quick because I know Natalie said that I should rather do arms with the NFL or arms with sports.
Yeah, you gotta do the arms or biceps. Yeah, let's get into that, or the abs of. I don't know.
Especially
I don't want to be
it's hard to do, and you can't really do it for NBA. I remember when me and Steph went at it, we had the buns of the MLB because that was easier.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what we should do is all things of one player. Like when baseball season starts, we just do a whole collage of Gabe Kaplan, like all things Gabe oriented, and just.
If anybody needs to remember what Gabe Kaplan looks like,
we just have to. Yes.
We need to get to Arizona for the spring training for the Giants, man.
Tasha's trying to have all the fun. We need to see Gabe.
I'm saying. Hey,
Right.
but for the sneaker people, just so you know, the threes, the white cements are getting they got reimaged, and they're going to be on the 11th.
I saw that.
And look at these, the Air Max 1s. These are the 87s. This is the Great Indoors, aka the Tiger Swoosh. These will be out
I actually like those.
on
I'm
the 15th.
not opposed to it.
I figured I saw these and I kind of thought I kind of felt it. I actually like these ones too.
I actually can get on deck with these.
Okay, look at us breaking bread here on a sneaker real quick.
Yeah, and then you get on deck. Maxes don't count. I feel like no one's really wearing Maxes like I see like the other stuff. But yes, people are still wearing Maxes. I get it.
They are.
But I do
Here's
like
another
these.
pair, not as great, but these ones are called the Shima. These will be on the 10th. And I just got a thing for neon, so I had to put these out too. Use the Dunk Highs with the electric. These are called the electric. These will be out on the 10th as well. I think that's
the H-Gate, everybody. That's where you're gonna find those too. The H-Gate.
And for the St. Patty's Day people, Converse teamed up with Pata. They got the Converse 1-star, the 4-leaf clover. These will be on the 10th as well. So for all my Irish friends out there, yeah, I like the a little bit of my Irish side, like they had the little 4-leaf clover. That's pretty dope. Yeah. So, anyways, guys, let me check these comments. I have Natalie. She said arms, thighs, chest, abs of all. Bring it back, please.
Yes. Well, you saw that picture of Gabe. He had everything that we needed.
Yes, Steph remembers it was the buns of the MLB because you could always see. Listen, Steph, I'm gonna stay with Gabe in the memory in the save photos here on the show. So if anybody just yells Gabe at any time, we'll pull it up for you. That's the show for today, guys. We've definitely gone over, but we appreciate you. It's Women's History Month. It's International Women's Day. We've had plenty of international women in our chat, and we appreciate you for joining and sharing. If you're just catching the tail end of this, make sure you share. You can catch the replay. You can go to YouTube and subscribe to our podcast at Girl Chat Sports. We appreciate all the people that join in and share with us. And we, just another great West Coast Wednesday out here.
It was.
So we'll see you guys next Wednesday. We'll catch you later. Appreciate you. Bye.
All right.
Let's go Rebels.
Yes.